So we are in Portsmouth Central Police Station on Winston Churchill Avenue, which is the opening of our new front counter today here. So this police station is now back open to the public.
And why was it closed in the first place?
Well, the decision was taken back in 2015-16 by the previous Police and Crime Commissioner and previous Chief Officers of Hampshire and the Isle of Wight Constabulary to completely redesign their estate plan. Police stations were closed, custody suites were closed, and a number of front counters were closed in order to save money. But since I've been the Police and Crime Commissioner over the 3 years, I've really tried to generate more income. I've driven an efficiency drive through the force, and that's enabled me to be able to open police stations again, purchase new buildings for brand new police stations, and of course reopen front counters such as the one that we're in here.
Brilliant. And how will the reopening of this station change policing in the city?
Well, I think it's really important that we have really publicly accessible police stations, particularly in the heart of our cities. Portsmouth Central Police Station is undoubtedly, the biggest hub right on the edge of Southsea and right near the university. So it's important that people can come in and speak to the police with concerns, get updates on crimes they've reported, or any other information and intelligence they want to feed into the force. The current most accessible police station in Portsmouth, other than this, is of course the Police Investigation Centre, which is in Hilsey. But that's not that easy for a number of people to get to, particularly for disabled people and others. So that's why I've given a real commitment to wanting to increase visibility, to wanting to make the police as accessible as they can possibly be, and so opening up police stations again is one of my top priorities.
And from feedback that you've had from the public and since you took over the role, how important is it to be able to report a crime face to face?
Well, for some people, particularly those who can't read and write very well, or perhaps English isn't their first language, it's really important. Some people need to be taken into a quiet room, a quiet space, particularly if they're sharing information with the police, which is of a very sensitive nature, or something that's very harrowing to them about a crime that's perhaps been committed against them personally, individually. So having sites like this, as I say, is really important. My top 3 priorities have been recruiting more police officers, and we've now recruited 650 more police officers. So there's more people now working in sites like this police station right in the middle of Portsmouth. Secondly, it's been to increase the visibility of the police. So that means having more police stations, front counters, and having the police out on foot. And the Chief Constable has introduced new town centre teams to tackle shoplifting and again to make the police more visible. I've introduced local bobbies. I've brought back the local bobby so that local communities have now got their named local police officer, phone number, email address and name accessible through the Constabulary's website. So this really now, the third one, is getting people connected back to their police service. For me, these are really basic things that taxpayers have a right to expect from their police force.
What changes will people notice in the station now that it's reopened?
So this is one of our most important police stations in the police estate. Working from here, you've got missing and exploited teams, you've got neighbourhood teams, you've got occasionally the response and patrol teams who are responding to 101 and 999 calls, and also there will be detectives working from here as well, and they do occasionally pop in if they're not at the Police Investigation Centre in Hilsey. So you can see that this is a really important site, but the most important thing for the public is the fact they can come through the door. It's completely disability friendly, so disabled people can come in here too, and there are quiet spaces and people need to be able to speak to a police officer or a police staff member on a much more discreet, confidential basis.
Okay. And lastly, I know that today we've got the station opening here in the city centre, but also another one in Park Gate. How does reopening police stations sort of tie into your longer term strategy as Commissioner?
Well, I consulted with the public before I set my priorities that I've been delivering over the last 3 years that I've been the Police and Crime Commissioner. And one of the things the public said to me was, we don't see the police enough, there aren't enough police officers, and all the police stations are closed. Now, to me, these are the basic fundamentals that taxpayers expect to get from me as their Police and Crime Commissioner and from their police service. And so that's why opening up front counters, putting police stations back in more visible and more accessible locations has been important. But what's also really key is the people that work in police stations that have front counters, the desk staff, the front desk staff, they are also processing a whole load of other information as well. So if perhaps there's only a handful of people that might come into a police station in a 2 or 3 hour period, they are still helping to process crimes that are being committed, they are still helping to process crimes that are being reported through the Constabulary website as well. So this is a really multifaceted front counter across all of our police estate, and we've got more to come in the autumn as well that we're opening.